Hey, what's up guys? Tom here, back for another video. Figured I'd jump on real quick, show a few things I had in my backlog or stuff that I was just listening to recently. So I guess technically a vinyl update 'cause I haven't shown any of this stuff on video, but whatever, it is what it is. Hope everyone is doing well. We're having a good weekend. It's Saturday night. Cold here in Connecticut. Not a fan of the cold and the snow, but you know, it's winter, whatever. So, first up, Tony Esposito, La Banda del Sol. Italian singer, songwriter, drummer, percussionist. This is his fourth record, I believe. Third or fourth, something like that. From 78 on the Philips label. Classic Philips label there. Great record, really enjoyed this one. Still looking for his first self-titled record, but this one's very good as well. I guess a prog album overall, but with influences in jazz, jazz rock, Latin jazz, African tribal stuff, South American music as well. Mostly instrumental. There's a couple tracks with wordless vocals. They do a cover of Pharaoh's Hum Allah. So they do a really good job on that, in my opinion. I really like that one. Pretty nice cover. So cool record. Definitely recommend checking it out. Sort of a world music influence on here for sure. The cover itself actually kind of reminds me of the Puppet Master movies. I don't know, you guys remember those? Kind of weird cover in my opinion, but still a cool record though. Definitely recommend checking it out. I don't know how easy it is to get. I think it's one of his easier albums to find. So I could be wrong about that though. I found it locally. From 1978, I think I said that. This is what is playing in the background, if you can hear it, but Elton Dean's Ninsense, or 9 Cents, Elton Dean's Ninsense, Over the Edge. Really cool record from 1976, UK, free jazz, avant-garde jazz, whatever you want to call it. I guess more avant-garde, but great lineup on here. Elton Dean on alto sax, Alan Skidmore on tenor, Harry Beckett on trumpet, flugelhorn, Mark Charig on trumpet and tenor horn, Nick Evans on trombone, Keith Tippett on piano, Harry Miller on bass, and Louis Mahalo on drums. So stacked lineup. Oh, sorry about the glare, but kind of unavoidable. But yeah, great stacked lineup on Ogun. All these Ogun records are fantastic. Highly recommend. Pretty much all of them. I don't think I heard a bad one yet, so definitely worth checking that out for sure. Trying to grab all these. I think I have most of them now, 3 or 4, whatever it is. Family Percussion, Family of Percussion, Message to the Enemies of Time. This is Peter Geiger's, his group. I think this is the first one, their debut from 78 on the Nagara label. There it is. Kind of a plain label, but cool. I like the font on that. But great record. So features Doug Hammond, Tom Nicholas from that group Mombasa, which I really enjoy. Sort of a Euro jazz group with heavy African influence. Trilok Gertu from an assortment of things. He played with Embryo, John McLaughlin, Oregon. But like free jazz percussion, I guess, mixed with African folk and tribal music. Best way to describe it. But really great record. All their stuff is good, so I still need the one with Archie Shepp, and I think I have all of them. I think it's three or 4 records that they have. Maybe more, I don't know. But everything I heard from them is good, so definitely trying to grab all of it. Not easy to find over here, though, so. After that, this was a cool find. This is the Piano Conclave. Ooh, that glare though. But Piano Conclave, Palas or Palai Anthology from 1975 on the MPS label. Just classic MPS label there. But another stacked lineup on here. Sort of heavy jazz funk fusion album with some Canterbury type moments. Kind of a super group. So Adam Malkowicz, Polish pianist, Alphonse Mouzon, Bobo Stenson, Fritz Power, George Gruntz, Gordon Beck, Jasper Van Hoff, Joachim Kuhn, John Lee, Wolfgang Downer, kind kind of a stacked group, like I said, but really, really cool. This is a German release, I think. Yeah, on PS, obviously, German release. So all the tracks are like 1930s dances, I guess, and it's kind of their take on 1930s dances, but like I said, just heavy jazz funk piano keyboard record. Definitely check it out online. The cover definitely, I don't know, it's one of those that don't judge a book by its cover, you know, because the cover, I don't know, you can't really tell, but great record for sure. So definitely worth checking out. I'm pretty sure you can find that one on YouTube or Spotify, whatever, some sort of digital platform. This one was pretty cool, although it still has the shrink on it, so I'll probably take that off, didn't realize, but Glenn Hall, The Book of the Heart. This is from 1979 on the Sonora Records label, which I don't know that label at all, but so Canadian saxophonist Glenn Hall, didn't know him, but he made a great record here. Beautiful set of originals and a few covers, sort of sitting on the edge of free, but not quite going all out, more avant-garde, post-bop, a bit spiritual at times. So, you know what, I'm just gonna take this shrink off because it's kind of bothering me now, so let's get that out of there. There you go, much better. Yeah, Glenn Hall, Joanne Brockine on piano, Billy Hart on drums, Cecil McBee on bass, Joshua Breakstone on guitar, and Glenn Hall on tenor and soprano saxophones, bass, clarinet, and percussion as well. So, really cool. Not sure how hard this is to find. I don't think it's too hard. I could be wrong, though. But definitely recommend checking that out. Like I said, not too crazy. Free jazz, more avant-garde, sort of spiritual post-bop at times. Great record, though. Wasn't familiar with the player. Other than, I mean, not Glenn Hall, but the other ones are pretty well known, so sort of says something there, I think. Next up, classic jazz funk record, Ryo Kawasaki, Juice from '76 on just the RCA label. Great, one of the best jazz funk records ever made, in my opinion. Pretty well known, Beat Digger record, been sampled a bunch of times. But Ryo Kawasaki, guitarist and synth player, string synthesizer, excuse me. I think he actually helped create the guitar synthesizer, from what I understand. He worked for the Roland Corporation for some years. Really cool, but you know, iconic cover as well. I think most people know this cover. Just great jazz funk. Definitely recommend this very highly if you don't know it. Not the cheapest record anymore, but I think it's like 50, 60 bucks, maybe a little bit more, but definitely well worth seeking out for sure. After that, moving on to an Australian record, which I think I got this from Chris Cole. I knew nothing about this, wasn't familiar with it. So Pyramid, self-titled Pyramid. I've seen this cover before, but wasn't really familiar with the record. So Australian jazz rock, jazz fusion, sort of Weather Report-ish sounding times. They released 2 albums. This is the first one. The second one was okay, but this one's pretty great, pretty funky. I don't know, James Buttery, and you guys probably know this record, maybe. Like I said, I didn't know it, not familiar with the players at all. Here's the lineup. But really cool, like I said, if anything, sort of Weather Report-esque, I guess. Cool label, too, on the East label from 1980. Not sure if I said the year, but really cool label on that. Pretty plain, but I really like that label. I don't know why. Something about it is just pretty sick. Like I said, they have a second album, but I didn't really dig that one too much. I sampled it online. It wasn't as good as this, in my opinion. A little bit weaker. Harold Land record, which I did not have. New Shade of Blue. Basically just a Harold Land, Bobby Hutcherson quintet album, sort of. Yeah, they released a bunch of great records together, late 60s, early 70s, mainly under Bobby Hutcherson's name on Blue Note, but great post-bop, hard bop, some bits of modal in here going on too, gatefold, just fantastic. Harold Land on tenor, Bobby Hutcherson on vibes, Buster Williams on bass, Bill Henderson on piano, Billy Hart on drums, and Mtume on congas. Really can't go wrong with Harold Land. Bobby Hutcherson, in my opinion, just a great combination. On mainstream, so one of the ones they didn't actually release on Blue Note. They had a nice run on Blue Note for sure. Definitely recommend all of those records. And I recommend this too if you can find it. Not sure how easy it is to find. Took me a while to find it for a decent price at least. Another score, I think I grabbed this from Chris Cole. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure it came in one of his packages. Space Circus, Funky Caravan. This is from 1978 on the RCA label. Japanese jazz fusion, jazz rock, but it's more than that. It's funky, spacey, proggy at times. The tracks some of the tracks sort of switch halfway through. Like they'll start off being funkier and then go into a more spacey vibe and then switch again into a jazz rock track. So I don't know too much about these guys, but they have a couple albums, this and one more. Trying to get the second one too because I don't know, great stuff. Definitely recommend checking it out. Like I said, they're kind of all over the place. Prog, jazz rock, just spacey, funky, I don't know, really cool. Some heavy jazz funk at times. There's like talk box guitar solo stuff on here going on. So I don't know, it's just cool record for sure. Wasn't familiar with it. Japan definitely has some great stuff coming out of there. Still to this day. What else we got? This was an interesting record. Still not sure if I want to keep this. But another one to shrink on it. Probably take that shrink off too. But this Oneness, Surprise. So this is from 75 on Oz Records or OZ, I'm not sure. But Minnesota-based kind of jazz fusion, jazz rock. I only opened for Chick Corea a few times, but I guess mostly known for being Olivia Newton-John's backing band on her tours in the mid-70s in the US. I think they also appeared on the Midnight Special broadcast that she did, but nice mix of prog, jazz fusion, bit of Canterbury-inspired touches there. Some of the tracks are more poppy, like Please Let the Sunshine. I think that's the most well-known track. It's probably my least favorite, probably the weakest track on that album. But nice flute, nice sax, and guitar work as well. Great tracks on here. In Out, Radio Free America, Go in Peace. Those are probably my favorites. But I think these guys only did one album. You know what? Another shrink's coming off because I hate the glossy shrink. So didn't help too much, but a little bit. So yeah, I don't usually take the shrink off when I get the records immediately. I probably should though. There's the label. Group name is This Oneness, Surprise. It's the name of the album. Sort of interesting piece there. This is a really cool record. Really dig this one. Peter Mataghini, Polyrhythm, from 1975 on the Bricko Records label. So another sort of heavy jazz funk fusion record. But Peter Mataghini is a drummer, really well known for using polyrhythms, and all the tracks on here polyrhythms. So really cool. I think he's wrote a couple books on the subject as well. So great record. Features George Duke, Don Menza, Dave Young. Yeah, great. Definitely recommend just checking it out. Just check it out. If you like polyrhythms, I think stuff's really interesting. So really cool. Just check it out. Peter Mataghini, Polyrhythm, from 1975. Yeah, 1975 on the Bricko label. A few more here. Probably the best, in my opinion, or one of the best Shelly Manne records. I'm not the biggest fan of Shelly Manne, that sort of cool jazz or stuff that he does his bop records. They're okay, but not really my thing. But his record on Mainstream is fantastic, in my opinion. Completely different than that stuff, more exploratory, sort of world music, modalish vibes at times. There's the lineup on there. Features John Gross, which is a great player, has a great album in his own right. But so good. Like I said, completely different than his cool jazz sort of bop record stuff. This is from '72. Yeah, just classic mainstream label there, but very sort of, like I said, exploratory. So he plays the drums. Shelly Manne plays the drums. Berimbau, the waterphone. Suika or Kuik, I'm not sure. Super balls on cymbals, and Daka de Bellos. I'm not sure what some of those instruments are, but they sound really cool. The rest of the stuff is John Morell on guitar, Mike Wolford on piano, John Gross on sax, Gary Brown on trumpet, Jeffrey Castleman on bass, so pretty regular. And then Brian Moffat plays percussion and a bunch of percussion and sort of hand instruments. So, oh, you can see it, there's the lineup there. But yeah, like I said, definitely my favorite Shelly Manne record. If you don't know it, go check it out. Highly recommend this one for sure. Polish jazz record that I picked up not too long ago. Andrzej Trzaskowski Quintet, Polish Jazz Volume 4 is the name. Yep, Polish Jazz Volume 4, 1965. On the classic Polska Magania label, the state-run label there. But nice mix of post-bop, hard bop, modal, avant-garde, sort of. A lot of Polish jazz is sort of similar in that, a nice mix. But Andrzej on piano, Thomas Stanko on trumpet, classic Thomas Stanko. Janusz Muniak on sax, Jacek Ostaszewski on bass, and Adam Zędzowski on drums. Wow, some of those I can't even pronounce. His son actually is, I think, the current mayor of Warsaw, so pretty interesting. Rafał, I believe he's the mayor of Warsaw, but great record. Not too out there, definitely a bit more, I would say, avant-garde, post-bop than free jazz, but you got Thomas Stanko on there, so it's always going to be a good record if he's on there. Of course, with the shitty, thin Polish covers, which they're known for, which I absolutely hate, but glad to have the record. Last two here on the show is going to be a couple of Prague and Psych records. This was a cool find. I found this locally at the flea market. Holding Pattern, a self-titled Holding Pattern. This is from '81 on Savvy Records, which I think was their own label. But private press Connecticut prog rock record, basically. I'm not usually a fan of symphonic style prog, but this one was really good. Nice melodic guitar work and pretty good compositions too, so definitely recommend this. I don't think it's too expensive, it's just not the easiest to find, but signed on the back to somebody, so basically just pen, because it's not signed to me, so I don't really care. But pretty cool label. Savvy Records, Holding Pattern. Yeah, I'm not always the biggest prog fan, but this was really cool, and it was local, so always try to grab the local stuff when I can. One from the West Coast, which I really dug. Salvation, self-titled Salvation from 1968 on ABC Records. San Francisco Psych band. I think originally they were called the New Salvation Army, but they had to change the name, or the New Salvation Army Band, but they had to change the name. I guess they got sued by the Salvation Army, so sort of interesting, but has Joe Tate on guitar, who played in the Soul Searchers, Art Resnick on organ and harpsichord, who great player in his own right. His album Jungleopolis is really good, definitely recommend that. He also played with Nat Adderley and Freddie Hubbard later on. Bill Plummer on sitar. He's got that Bill Plummer Cosmic Brotherhood album on Impulse, and then Tom Scott on sax and flute. So definitely some good players on there. Formed by singer Al Lind and guitarist Joe Tate. And Al Lind definitely has an interesting kind of Bob Dylan thing going on. Not sure if that's on purpose or if that's just how his voice sounds, but I definitely don't hate it. I know a lot of people don't like Bob Dylan's voice. I don't really mind it. Doesn't bother me, but great West Coast Psych right here. Some nice Oregon stuff going on. Sitar from Bill Plummer, like I said, so definitely check it out. It's online. You could definitely stream it. White label promo as well too. Forgot to mention that. So last couple here. Listening, self-titled. This is from Boston, I believe. I don't know too much about this group, but really nice Boston Psych, East Coast Psych. I thought interesting, the recording engineer was Lamont Johnson, so it's pretty cool. But there's the lineup. Sort of a beat up copy, but I got this for cheap, and really cool stuff on Vanguard. And then the last one here, I just posted this on Instagram, but been after his album for a while. Polyphony, Without Introduction, 1971 on the 11th Hour label, which I'm not sure if that's just their own label or what, but cool label on that. Organ heavy, sort of prog, psych, great playing, good arrangements. I think these guys are from Virginia, so definitely some Emerson, Lake and Palmer influences going on there with the organ, but these guys are better in my opinion. I really like this a lot more than Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Definitely goes more places, definitely a bit more exploration. Doesn't really seem like they're going for the radio sound like ELP was at times, so really cool. Polyphony, Without Introduction. That's it. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Hopefully I'll be back sooner than later. Peace.